All right, today we gather here to discuss together feudal customs in modern Chinese weddings. It's a topic that deserves our attention. It's called Feudal Customs in Modern Chinese Weddings. In today's society, even though times are rapidly changing, technology is advancing rapidly, but the remnants of feudal customs still exist in weddings. Have you heard about it? Are you talking about the feudal customs related to weddings? For example, in some areas, the day of the newlyweds' wedding, it has to be the brothers or male relatives. This escorting is called sending off the bride. This custom reflects men escorting women, men's role. Men escorting women shows men's dominance over women. It emphasizes the dominant position of men in the family and the subordinate status of women, subordinate position. It overlooks women's independence and autonomy in any way. On the day of the wedding, the bride has to leave her family home at an auspicious time in the morning. But what exactly is the auspicious time? Exactly what? Different places and different families have their own variations. In some areas, they specifically choose a time shortly after sunrise. It's like the sunrise, a new life, the wedding procession begins. To start a brand new and beautiful life. In the wedding procession, the bride's brothers, older or younger, played an important role, especially the older brother or younger brother. The bride needs to dress up beautifully, wearing their red wedding dresses. The departure is ceremonial. The bride must respectfully bow to her parents. Thank you for the years of nurturing and support. The bride's family will also prepare a dowry, like bedding and clothes and things like that. Jewelry items are also essential. After a long wait, they finally arrived at the groom's house. Cross the saddle lightly. It means that after marriage they can live safely and soundly. Although times have changed now, the image of the wedding procession constantly changed, yet it's a key part of the wedding. But it has always been there. It's a very essential and important key part of the wedding, a significant element of the entire ceremony, carrying the mother's family. The bride is filled with importance and blessings. Can you believe it? In some areas, there's also the practice of jumping over a fire and sprinkling chicken blood. As soon as the bride arrives at the groom's doorstep, you have to safely step over a blazing fire pit. At the same time, someone nearby is randomly sprinkling chicken blood. The elders believe that fire can ward off evil. The bride steps over so she can start her new life fresh and clean and ready. Sprinkling chicken blood is meant to ward off evil spirits, to ensure the newlyweds a smooth and good marriage. But let's be honest, there is absolutely no scientific basis for this. And there's the chicken blood being splashed everywhere. It's dirty and unhygienic, and it might spread germs. Besides, what even are these evil spirits? It's just some people's superstitious beliefs, and the bride has to jump over the fire pit. They need to pour chicken blood. This custom originated from ancient people believed that women were unclean, bride's luck cleansed. Trying to ward off bad luck by jumping fire, avoid unclean things, to remove the bad luck from the bride, to avoid bringing anything unclean into the groom's family. But it's actually a form of discrimination and disrespect towards women. I really think this wedding is a bit unscientific, and it's unhygienic. There's no need to keep it. Like some ways to convey good wishes. Or maybe it's something that brings the couple closer together. Just keep the good parts. Let's skip the jumping over the fire and splashing chicken blood. Hurry up and get rid of it. There's also the custom of eating raw dumplings. When the bride arrives at the groom's family, someone will bring a bowl of raw dumplings. People next to you will shout, "Isn't the bride giving birth?" They will shout loudly and ask, "The bride must give birth." Crisply saying the word raw. The tricks here are very interesting. Dumplings? Is it the same pronunciation as the birth in giving birth? Everyone is just hoping for the good fortune of having children early. I hope that the young couple can have their own baby soon after getting married. Have their own baby. To add a new member to the family. Dumplings symbolize prosperity. Dumplings look like gold ingots, and that married life will be very prosperous and wealthy. It means that wealth will come rolling in. But views of youth today are different. Their thoughts are quite different now. Some think this custom is fun. They just go along with it happily. Some feel that this is too traditional and outdated. If you get married and come across this custom, how would you choose? And also eating eggs beforehand. Recently, I heard about a really bizarre wedding custom. Brides eat egg in bathroom. In some places, pre-marriage, the bride eats an egg. Eat an egg. There's another saying behind this. The older generation thinks of the bathroom as a bad place. A bad place. Having the bride eat an egg leaves the bad luck behind. The bad luck on her body. There are still unclean things left there. This way, you can go to your husband's house cleanly. It marks the beginning of a happy life. I really can't understand this custom at all. They say the bathroom environment is unsanitary. Eating there affects your mood. A wedding is a major event in life. Being happy is the most important thing. These inexplicable taboos, I think it's just to make the bride feel more anxious, you know. Since there's a custom of using a dustpan for weddings, on the wedding day, the bride has to sit obediently on the dustpan. You literally can't move around freely. The old saying is, this can help temper the bride's personality. After marriage, you have to obey your in-laws completely. This is just ridiculous. What era are we living in now? I think shooting this kind of thing it's a way of discriminating against women. They completely don't see the bride as an equal person. It's clearly a joyful occasion, yet they use such outdated customs to make things difficult. If someone is messed around, they would refuse. Feed elders. They would refuse on the spot. Another custom is feeding the elders. This custom has traditional aspects. When the bride arrives at her in-laws' house during the wedding, she has to feed the elders. Usually you hold the carefully prepared food like delicious cake or warm hot soup and so on. You respectfully bring it to the elders' mouths. This shows the bride's respect for elders, showing she knows the rules. Respect for the elders. It shows that the bride understands the rules. Through this action, it makes elders feel bride's intent, meaning family can get along well future. I really hope that my family can living together in harmony. But to be honest, this custom feels really awkward for people. Can you imagine a whole family watching the bride do this for the elders? Both sides might just feel uncomfortable. And sometimes the situation can be really awkward. The atmosphere is really tense. Now, many young people think that this form is more important than the content. We could respect the elders naturally and friendly, in a warm and friendly way. Just expressing respect for the elders is enough. There's another custom that's even more bizarre. It's that the bride has to kneel to welcome the guests. I'm really serious about this. Some areas, on the wedding day, the bride has to kneel welcoming the guests. She might be kneeling for several hours. This shows the bride polite respecting the groom's family. Etiquette is this, to give face to the groom's family. But kind of etiquette book is this? It's clearly a lack of respect for women. Marriage is really about two people in love. Start a wonderful life. Everyone hopes to be happy, equal and at ease, making the bride kneel the whole time. This puts a lot of physical strain on the bride, and it also adds a lot of emotional burden. And behind this is the old feudal structure. The concept places women in an unequal position. If I face this in marriage, I won't go along with it. Weddings skip rules with respect and understanding. Rules and unreasonable customs. More respect and understanding. Fewer nonsensical rules. Let me tell you, in some places during the wedding, elders will stand upstairs to eagerly watch the bride enter. As soon as the welcoming car procession arrives at the groom's house, at the moment the bride is about to step into the house, the bride's parents or family members, the respected elders are watching from upstairs. The older generation says that the elders are scrutinizing the bride to oversee the couple's marriage, and in the future they can continue to guide the young couple in their lives. Some people believe elders high up oversee the couple like deities. It's like looking at mortals from the perspective of a deity, right? Let the newlyweds have a smooth life. It's from the perspective of our young people. This is actually a bit awkward. Just imagine, as soon as the bride looks up, she meets scrutinizing gaze of the elders upstairs. The scrutinizing gaze. It's all tense here. The nice, quiet atmosphere has been ruined. Why don't you all stay at the door, laughing and playfully welcoming the bride? How gentle and at ease. This is an interesting custom. The bride's feet shouldn't lightly touch the ground. Many places have this custom. From the bride's family home to the groom's ceremonial house in the wedding car, the bride's feet can't touch the ground. The older generation says that there are dirty things on the ground, and there's also negative energy. It will pick up bad things. Think about life after marriage. So either the older brother or the younger brother carries her up and down, or she could walk on a red carpet or something like that. Weddings are meant to be casual. Women die. You see, the bride can't touch the ground on her way to the wedding because ghosts don't have feet. The bride also carries an umbrella because ghosts are afraid of light. The bride marks 7 days post-marriage. The ghost's last return to the underworld. From then on, she belongs to the groom's family's spirits. But this custom is really exhausting. It's because carrying her lacks strength, or maybe the road isn't easy to walk on. So awkward. And now everyone is talking about science. Where's all that negative energy coming from? I think these traditions have no practical significance. It's time for a change. Another thing is the custom of wedding pranks. A lot of places have really changed now. It's supposed to be a lively celebration. Special wedding for wedding day. Everyone gathers together to have a lively time. But the way people talk about it now is just too much. I attended a wedding before. A group of people was teasing the groom, insisting that he wear a short-sleeved shirt in the freezing cold. They even made him drink all sorts of bizarre mixed drinks. What chili oil with vinegar and mustard? It looks pretty uncomfortable. This is not happiness at all. It's clearly just tormenting people. And there's also a lack of respect for the bride. Teasing includes messing with bridesmaids. Even getting physical. Unethical acts at weddings include messing with bridesmaids. Some people use excuse of having fun weddings to engage in unethical behavior. Some engage in unethical behavior. Although it's said that we all know that a wedding should have a lively. Wedding pranks build joy on others' suffering. Wedding festivities have turned into vulgar pranks, building happiness on the suffering of others. This is really not good. Now we are pursuing civility. Weddings should also be more civilized. We can't have chaotic and disorderly celebrations anymore. It ruins a good celebration, I'm telling you. Another thing is crying at weddings. In many places before, crying was a must. The bride has to cry before getting married. Crying at weddings usually happens a few days before the wedding, or on the wedding day. The girl will sit in her room, holding on to her mother, sisters or close friends crying and murmuring at the same time. Some of it is soft sobbing, others raise their voices. The crying content is rich. Some of them really raise their voices and cry loudly. The content of the crying is quite rich. Most people express their reluctance to leave their family. My parents, my daughter as she leaves. I don't know when I can give birth. Being there with you and so on. Like, the girls also cry while reminiscing. The little bits and pieces of life at my family home. A little memory of the happy times from my childhood. And crying at weddings is important. How well you cry was important. If you don't cry, people think the girl lacks feelings for her family. If you don't cry, or if you don't cry enough to show sadness, others think that this girl has no feelings for her parents' home, or that she isn't understanding enough. Actually, from today's perspective, there's a reason behind crying at weddings. Back in the day, after a girl got married, going back to your family home isn't easy. Transport's inconvenient, and there are quite a few rules in the husband's family. This cry is like letting out all the grievances in my heart. Or maybe the reluctance just came out. But now transportation is much more convenient. Girls are also becoming more independent and free. The custom of crying at weddings isn't as strict anymore. In some places, they only keep a sense of ritual. It adds a touch of tradition to the wedding. The existence of feudal customs, it adds pressure on the newlyweds, unnecessary pressure and troubles. What modern society advocates is gender equality. Free love is in direct contradiction to values like respecting others. We should eliminate these feudal customs, establishing a correct view of marriage and values. If you marry into China, for example, will you follow these feudal customs, or how would you handle it? Are there feudal wedding customs for women in your country? If so, these feudal wedding customs towards women, if there are such customs, leave your comments in the comments section. See you next time. Indeed.